Good morning, students. So today we are going to continue with the story, Madam Rides a Bus, written by Valli Kannan. So this is the pseudonym of the real writer. That is not the real name. It's his pen name, you can say. So this story was basically written in Tamil, then it was translated into English. So we see its translated version here. So the title as Madam Rides a Bus. Here who the madam is. The madam is only an 8-year-old girl. An 8-year-old girl, why has she been addressed as madam? That day we read out its first part, and we've been able to make out like what makes the conductor call this girl as madam. So could you please answer this question? So why has this girl been addressed as madam? Why not the baby rides a bus? It's madam. So though it was out of humor that the conductor calls her as madam, but there is some reason behind it. So could you please tell what's that? Yes. Who will give answer? Why has she been called as the madam? Yes, Aditya Sharma or Arman. Arman, roll number 4. Why has she been called as madam? Keshav can give answer. Yes, Keshav. Keshav, yes, we are waiting for your answer. Divita.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes. Good morning, Bete.
Ma'am,
Yes.
Arman.
Arman, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Can you please repeat the question? Actually, I was not at my.
Okay. My question is like, why has this girl who is only 8-year-old, why has she been addressed as madam here?
Because, ma'am, ये कई जैसे पेरेंट्स के बुलाने का तरीका होता है या कई जैसे कोई मजाक में कहता है for the sake of fun.
Okay. It's okay. Yes, Arshin.
Ma'am, actually the conductor called Valli madam because she actually behaved like a woman, and moreover she declined the conductor's help, and she was having very quick answers to the conductor's questions. So that's why the conductor was also of a jolly sort, and that's why he called her a madam.
Okay, very good answer. Yes, Khushi.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Yes, Khushi, give the answer.
Ma'am, the conductor called her a lady, a madam, because she was acting less like a child and more like an independent woman.
Yes, very good. Yes, Mishti. Mishti was also there. Raise hand, Mishti, again. Yes.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon, Beta.
Yeah. The conductor called Wali a madam because she was behaving in such a way that no other child could behave. She was behaving in so adult manners, which convinced the conductor to call her a madam.
Okay, well done. Yes, children, the answer is like the girl, the Valli, who is only 8-year-old. She behaves like a lady. She refuses to be called as a child. She refuses to behave like a child and acts very maturely. So she refuses to take the help of the conductor in getting onto the bus. Then inside the bus, when she's asked to take care of herself, she refuses to be treated like a child. Because her main, logic was that if she is paying for the bus fare like the adults, and why should she be treated like a small baby? So her refusal, her you can say attitude to be treated like a lady makes the conductor call her madam, maybe humorously, but it was something which was quite inevitable. So it was quite convincing address. We liked this address. It's an appreciable address because This girl refused to be treated like a baby or a small child because she hardly behaved like a small child. And then otherwise, there are so many other characteristics of this girl which make us get convinced that yes, this girl is very appropriately right to be called as madam. The way she collected her bus fare, the way she saved money all on her own, the way she calculated the timing, at what time she'll have to go, at what time would she be come back. So all these things, the way she took the decision, the way she made planning, the way she saved money, the way she went out, the way she managed herself, conducted herself on the way, that was all like an adult. That was all like a lady, you can say. So that's it. So Madam Rides a Bus. So we had done its first part. So second part also we had started off. So there she was in the bus. So yes, so Valli had been able to see everything all around. She Valli devoured everything with her eyes. So this we had seen, read. Yes, from here we can see, like sitting down, she looked to see who had spoken. It was an elderly man who had honestly been concerned for her, but she was annoyed by his attention. So still we are getting answer to why would it be an appropriate title for her to be called as madam. So, so suddenly she was startled by a voice. Listen, child, said the voice, you shouldn't stand like that, sit down. So somebody told her to sit down, not to stand like that in the bus. So though when she saw who spoke that, it was an elderly man, it was an elderly man, the one who spoke like this, and she found out and she wanted to be annoyed. She was annoyed at that attention. There is nobody here who is a child, she said haughtily. I paid my 30 pies like everyone else. So this is the very correct answer for her being called as madam, because she refused to be called as child. She said, she told everybody that there is nobody who is a child. I have paid 30 pies like everyone else. That's the logic behind she is giving. The conductor chimed in, oh, sir, but this is a very grown-up matter. Do you think a mere girl could pay her own fare and travel to the city all alone? Valli shot an angry glance at the conductor and said, I'm not a madam. Please remember that. And you've not yet given me my ticket. So that is another thing for which we can say that yes, her attitude is actually like that of a madam. I'll remember, the conductor said, mimicking her tone. Everyone laughed and gradually Valli too joined in the laughter. The conductor punched a ticket and handed it to her. Just sit back and make yourself comfortable. Why should you stand when you paid for a seat? So now the conductor, instead of instructing her or advising her, the conductor told her that it was her right to sit. Because I want to, she answered, standing up again. But if you stand on the seat, you may fall and hurt yourself when the bus makes a sharp turn or hits a bump. That's why we want you to sit down, child. I'm not a child, I tell you, she said irritably. I'm 8 years old. Of course. How stupid of me. 8 years, my. The bus stopped. Some new passengers got on, and the conductor got busy for a time. Afraid of losing her seat, Valli finally sat down. So finally she sat, not because she was afraid or this, but no, she was afraid that maybe her seat would be taken by somebody else. An elderly woman came and sat beside her. Are you all alone, dear? She asked Valli as the bus started again. Valli found the woman absolutely repulsive. What is repulsive? Somebody whom you like, somebody who catches negative vibes. So she found the woman absolutely repulsive. Such big holes she had in her earlobes and such ugly earrings in them. And she could smell the bitter nut the woman was chewing and see the betel juice that was threatening to spill over her lips at any moment. So who could be sociable with such a person? So you might have been able to make out like why she disliked that woman basically for what she was biting and what she was like chewing. Yes, I'm traveling alone, she answered curtly. So, and I have got a ticket too. So she is very particular about telling everyone that she's got a ticket. So that is like being responsible also. Yes, she's on her way to town, said the conductor with a 30 paise ticket. Even the conductor, stressed upon the ticket. Oh, why don't you mind your own business? Said Wali. But she laughed at all the same, and the conductor laughed too. But the old woman went on with her drivel. Is it proper for such a young person to travel alone? Do you know exactly where you are going in town? What's the street? What's the house number? So this is what the elders usually think, that the children are silly. But the fact is, sometimes the elderly people, the adults, sometimes they behave in a dribbling manner or a little nonsensically. So she asked him, she tried to annoy him with these kinds of, questions. You needn't bother about me. I can take care of myself, Buddy said, turning her face towards the window and staring out. Okay, now these questions we'll discuss at the end. Her first journey, what careful, painstaking, elaborate plans she had to make for it. So it was her first journey, and she had been very careful about this journey. She had taken so many pains, and she had made many plans to make this journey. And she had thriftily saved whatever stray coins came her way. So whenever she would come across some coin, she would like save it. She would spend it very, very carefully, resisting every temptation to buy peppermints, toys, balloons, and the like. And finally, she had saved a total of 60 pies. So how did she save all that money to make up for this trip to the town and back? She had been able to save each, pies throughout, and she had been, she had been able to control herself from buying her favorites, for example, peppermints or toys or balloons and the things which she always liked to buy. So she had not purchased those things. She had controlled herself from purchasing those things, or from spending her money on those things. And finally, she had been able to save a total of 60 pies. Why 60 pies she needed? Because 30 pies to go and 30 pies to come back. How difficult it had been, particularly that day at the village fair, but she had resolutely stifled a strong desire to ride. So how difficult it had been. What was difficult? Particularly that day at the village fair, but she had resolutely stifled a strong desire to ride the merry-go-round, and even though she had the money. So the point is, now it had been very difficult for her to control herself from all those temptations, and even from going to the village fair. She wanted to go to the village. She wanted to go for a merry-go-round. She wanted to buy so many things, but she resisted the desire to do all these things and was able to control her desires. Stifling basically means suffocation, but here means that she had to suppress her desire to ride the merry-go-round. So she wanted to ride the merry-go-round also in the village, but she resisted that desire to enjoy the bus ride, which she was doing for the first time. Got it? So when you want to get something, when you want to gain something, you'll have to lose something. So what she lost? She lost the chance to enjoy at the village fair. She lost the chance to buy peppermints, toys, balloons, and similar other things, which she was very fond of earlier. Got it? So how difficult it had been, particularly that day at the village fair. So what was difficult for her? So let me ask somebody. How difficult it had been, particularly that day at the village fair, and so on. So what had been difficult for her? Let me ask somebody. Garima, give the answer.
Ma'am.
Yes, Ankita. Ankita, yes. Okay, she might have been muted now. Janvi. Janvi might not be able to speak up.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
Ma'am, ma'am, it might be very difficult for her to restrict herself.
From
She, from her feelings to buy something and to enjoy the fair. She has so many wishes to fulfill, like like to ride a merry-go-round. She even thought that she had money, but she don't want to spend it.
yes, yes, very good, Garima, good answer, bache. So she wanted to, she restricted herself despite the fact she had money. Okay, the biggest thing is like how much control you have, how much you are able to resist yourself from the temptations. That is more important. A resolute or a brave person is the one who can control himself or herself. Okay, brave person is not the one who has got big muscles and all. Brave person is the one who can control his or her temptations and can do what is required. Okay. Okay. Anyways. So after she had enough money saved, her next problem was how to slip out of the house without her mother's knowledge. That is something very challenging, very difficult also, and very wrong also. Okay, I must not tell you like it's right, but Valli is Valli. So let's see what she is doing. So she had been able to save money, but her now problem was like how to leave house without letting her mother know it. But she managed this without too much difficulty. Every day after lunch, her mother would nap from about 1 to 4 or so. So every day, what was her mother's routine? That she would go to sleep from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And so, so Valli always used these hours for her excursions. What are excursions? Excursions are the picnics, outings. So she would use all these hours, 1 to 4, whenever her mother would go to sleep for excursions. And as she stood looking from the doorway of a house, or sometimes even ventured out into the village, today these same hours could be used for her first excursion outside the village. Earlier, during these hours from 1 to 4, either she would stand at the threshold of her house to look out, or she would even go into the village. But today it was the first time that she was venturing out of the village. For the first time it was. The bus rolled on, now cutting across a bare landscape. And now, children, this is the description of like what she would see out in the bus. The bus rolled on now, cutting across a bare landscape. Now rushing through a tiny hamlet or past an old wayside shop. Sometimes the bus seemed on the point of gobbling up another vehicle that was coming towards them or a pedestrian crossing the road. But lo, somehow it passed on smoothly, leaving all obstacles safely behind. Trees came running towards them, but then stopped as the bus reached them and simply stood there helpless for a moment by the side of the road before rushing away in another direction. So this is, children, the scene, what you can see from your bus. If you're in a bus and the scenes outside it. So this is that description, and it's a very lovely description. So you can read it on your own again and enjoy, and you can also relate it like how actually you also saw these kinds of things when you were riding by a bus. Suddenly, Valli clapped her hands with glee, glee's happiness. A young cow, tail high in the air, was running very fast, right in the middle of the road, right in front of the bus. The bus slowed to a crawl, and the driver sounded his horn loudly again and again. But the more he honked, the more frightened the animal became, and the faster it galloped, always right in front of the bus. So now there is an incident which made this girl very happy. What happened that she saw a young cow. It was running fast towards in the middle of the road towards their bus. So the bus driver, honked again and again. And the more it honked, the animal became confused or nervous, you can say, and it started galloping even faster. And most of the, and always it came in front of the bus only. So the honking by the bus, or you can say, it confused the animal and it galloped even faster than earlier it was towards the bus only. And this sight made the girl laugh. This thing, this one incident, you know, it's going to be very important, as it will bring a new, you can say, vision or new wisdom in her, in this girl. So whatever we have been able to see through about this girl, she has become quite mature and all. But here we see that she has not been able to understand the difference between life and death. Actually, there is a very, very narrow difference between life and death, and that she doesn't know. So afterwards, by the end of her journey, she will see the significance of this incident where she is laughing now. Somehow this was very funny to Vali. She laughed and laughed until there were tears in her eyes. So she had a hearty laughter at this incident. Hey lady, haven't you laughed enough? Called the conductor. Better save some for tomorrow. At last, the cow moved off the road, and soon the bus came to a railroad crossing. A speck of a train could be seen in the distance, growing bigger and bigger as it drew near. Then it rushed past the crossing gate with a tremendous roar and rattle, shaking the bus. Then the bus went on and passed the train station. From there, it traversed a busy, well laid out shopping street and turning entered a wider thoroughfare. What's a thoroughfare? Thoroughfare is a common path, okay, meant for everybody. Traverse means traveled. So from there, it traversed a busy, well laid out shopping street and entered a wider thoroughfare. So they came to a common road. Such big, bright looking shops. What glittering displays of cloth and other merchandise. Such big crowds. So now they were in the city, and the city looks are quite different from what one can see in the village. So when this girl had come from the village and when she entered the city through this bus, she was, you can say, like amazed at these bright looking shops, glittering displays of clothes and all. Okay. Struck dumb with wonder, Wali gaped at everything. So gaping at something means when you look at something with your mouth wide open, when you're very surprised. So this girl was dumbstruck with all what she could see in the city, and she was like amazed. Then the bus stopped and everyone got off except Wali. Why did Wali get off? Because she had not come to visit somebody in the city. She had come only to enjoy the ride and the ride to city and city from back to village. So no, hey lady, said the conductor, aren't you ready to get off? This is as far as your 30 pies takes you. So now the conductor reminded her that she must leave the bus because her 30 pies journey is over. No, Wali said, I'm going back on the same bus. She took another 30 pies from her pocket and handed the coins to the conductor. Why is something the matter? No, nothing's the matter. I just felt like having a bus ride. That's all. Don't you want to have a look at the sights now that you are here? All by myself. All by myself? Oh, I would be much too afraid. So now the conductor was suggesting her to go out and have fun in the city to see the city, but that there she pointed out that she was too young to do that all on her own. She said like all by myself means she won't be able to see the sightseeing in the city all on her own. So I would be much too afraid. Greatly amused by the girl's way of speaking, the conductor said, but you weren't afraid to come in the bus? Nothing to be afraid of about that, she answered. Well, then why not go to that stall over there and have something to drink? Nothing to be afraid of about that either. So now the conductor told her that like she could go and have something to drink from that stall. Oh no, I couldn't do that. Well, then let me bring you a cold drink. No, I don't have enough money. Just give me my ticket, that's all. It will be my treat and not cost you anything. No, no, she said firmly, please no. So this is here where she proves to be the madam. This is here where she proves the fact like, yes, she is not just a child who can be pampered or who can be flattered with just one drink or chocolate, right? She resisted the temptation to be offered a free drink. She gave a big no. The conductor shrugged and they waited until it was time for the bus to begin the return journey. Again, there weren't many passengers. Got it? So now they would go back. Now last 5 minutes are left. This part we would do on Monday. And meanwhile, children, what you people do? You'll be doing these 4 questions of this third part and the previous 3 or 4 questions of that part. And these 4 questions of first part. So 4 plus 4 plus 3, 11 questions in all. So if I say write on fair notebooks, that would be better, I guess. So write these 11 questions in your fair notebooks. Would that be fine? Would that be fine? Okay, Asheen says yes. Okay, others don't scold her. Okay, so do this these questions on your fair notebooks, and main thing is that you should know them. Okay, I'm asking you to write these answers only when you write something, you are able to revise some work. Okay. So those children who have not sent me the notebooks so far, they send it. And this new chapter will also be ready by next, on Wednesday, I'll ask you to send me the complete work of this chapter also. Okay, thank you, children.